because he's been taking care of Juta Karma Prabhu, who was, he's had a downfall in his health. So he flew last night down to Los Angeles to take care of him. He's his caretaker. Brigadier said, check on board. He's still distributing books also. Yeah. So, does anybody know how to play Dan Nilo in the harmonic? Do you know how? Yeah, you can play. We'll go soon. Those of you that don't know it, you can find it in your phone. Vijaya. You want to put the mic, take the mic? Yeah.
Srimad Purna Prachu
I'll read the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love, and he was filled with compassion. And mercy. Where has such a personality as Advaita Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fall? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these great devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari.
Gopikanda Balaba Girivadavadari
Jaya Gopishanda Girivadavadari.
Gopikanda Balaba Girivadavadari Yamunatira Vangavachari Yamunatira Vangavachari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, text number 27. Love you guys. I think it's 27.
No, it's Canto to Chapter 4, text number 8.
Oh, sorry. 248. Got it?
Yes.
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman.
Arir Adbhuta Karmana
Adebhadutakarmana.
Durve Bhavyam Ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
Kavivis Chapi Chestitam
Kavichachestitam.
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman.
Arir Adbhuta Karmana
Adebhadutakarmana.
Durve Bhavyam Ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
Kavivis Chapi Chestitam
Kavichachestitam.
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman.
Arir Adbhuta Karmana
Adebhadutakarmana.
Durabhavyam Ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
Kavivis Chapi Chestitam
Kavichachestitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman. Adebhadutakarmana. Adebhadutakarmana.
Durvibhavyam ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
kavivischapi cheshtitam
Kavichachestitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman.
Hariraputa karmana
Adebhadutakarmana.
Durvibhavyam ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
kavivischapi cheshtitam
Kavichachestitam. Bhagavato Brahman.
Durvibhavyam ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
kavivischapi cheshtitam
Kavichachestitam.
Master.
Nunam Bhagavato Brahman. Adebhadutakarmana.
Durvibhavyam ivabhati
Durvibhavyamivabhati.
kavivischapi chesitam
Kavichachestitam.
Nuna,
Nunam.
still insufficient.
Still insufficient.
Bhagavata,
Bhagavatam.
of the personality of Godhead.
Of the personality of Godhead.
Brahman,
Brahman.
O learned Brahmana.
O Brahman.
Hare,
Hare.
of the Lord.
Of the Lord.
Adbhuta,
Adbhuta.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Karmana,
Karmana.
of one who acts.
One who acts.
Durvibhavyam,
Durvibhavyam.
inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Eva,
Eva.
like that.
Like that.
Abhati,
Bhati.
appears.
Appears.
Kavivi,
Kavivi.
even by the highly learned.
Even by the highly learned.
Cha,
Cha.
also.
Also.
Api,
Api.
in spite of.
In spite of.
Chestitam,
Chestitam.
being endeavored for.
Being endeavored for.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Purport. The acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful. And there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of this creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as only a part, a kamsena, stito jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of its energy, the remaining three parts consist of the Vaikuntha Jagat, or the spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Madhama, or Sanatan Dham, or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the other, greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor an island. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dham would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with Dham. His eternal name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all a display of his different energies and expansion. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created, but the Vedanta informs us that he is not created, rather everything else is created by him. Narayana Paro Vyakta. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable, and thus such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends, or how many stars and planets there are, or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over space. In a news release from Moscow dated 2/21/60, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. Russia's well-known professor of astronomy, Boris Vorontsovsky, said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with reason. It could be that life similar to that on Earth flourishes on such planets. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zerov, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt itself to normal existence with a low body temperature. Prabhupada said that the demigods used to come here. You just like righteous king demigods. Prabhupada said now the demigods will not even come here to pass urine. It's degraded. He said that he felt that the gaseous composition of Mars atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which have become adapted to it. This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Binam. That is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere, and the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers, and Binam means variegated. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmosphere of other planets, easy journey to other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Deva Vata Deva Pritrin Yanti Pratirvata Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Mad Didino Pima. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Mars Brickett's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Sukadeva Goswami for such information? Mars Brighett, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world, but that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that, even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited, and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge, and with imperfect senses, any living being up to the standard of Brahman, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited, when it is explained in the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord himself in the unique statements of the Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from the realized souls like Sukadeva Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada. And thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of descending succession only, and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya.
Om Gyanatamanandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksha Manitamjena Tasmane Sri Gurdavena Mahamukam Prutubhachalam Amunam Hete Yat Kripa Talaham Mande Shigaram Dinatana Vanchakapatu Pischati Vasandu Devacha Paditanam Bhavanevya Vaishnavevya Ornamo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Yesterday at the Rath Yatra, it's a nice Rath Yatra, isn't it? So nice. I was speaking to one student, and he said he debates at school. And the discussion came up about Krishna. And they were saying, well, what kind of a God is this? He steals. He dances with unmarried women in the dead of night, along with married women. So he asked me, well, what do I say? I said, well, first of all, you shouldn't debate about these things with people that have no faith in Krishna. If you want to debate about Krishna, then just stick with the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, you go into pastimes, they can't understand these things. And he said, well, can you help me understand? I also can. So I said, well, Krishna, he doesn't have to steal. First of all, he owns everything. So he does this as a pastime for his devotees. The elderly gopis, they like to have Krishna come to their home and steal butter. It's a pastime that they like. And as far as the unmarried gopis and the married gopis that would go and dance with Krishna in the dead of night, everything belongs to Krishna. All the women, everything belongs to Krishna. Except for Krishna to dance with some ladies in the dead of night. It's not a big deal. But there's no lust. There's no lust, just love. I gave the example of the iron and the gold. They're both metals. One is very valuable, and other not very valuable. Yeah. So the activities of Krishna is golden, wonderful, wonderful. And these lustful activities is iron. So the spiritual world, there is no iron, there's no lust, there's gold, just love. So he appreciate. I'll be in touch with him. So yeah, it's difficult to understand the activities of Krishna. In Kunti, she says that Krishna, he's engaged in his pastimes in Vrindavan. And while he's engaged in his pastimes, he's there, he's suckling the milk of Mother Yasoda. But nearby, she's boiling milk. But the milk starts to boil over. So why is this happening? Because the milk is also personal. And the milk is thinking, if Krishna keeps drinking that milk of Mother Yasoda, then he's not going to be hungry for any of me. So he's not going to want any of me. So he boils over so that Yasoda stops to stop the boiling over. But Krishna didn't like that. So what did he do? He broke the pot of yogurt and milk. So then he goes and he knows that now he's going to be in trouble, so he runs away. But she follows the footprints. And she eventually sees him, and he's running away. Now here's God running away from this lady. And Kunti says that fear personified is afraid of Krishna. But here, Krishna is running away from Mother Yasoda. So how is this possible? It's also said that Krishna is unborn. He's unborn, but he takes birth. How is this possible? So to understand Krishna is very difficult. As Prabhupada says in the purport, we can understand a little bit of Krishna. But even it said that Krishna doesn't understand himself because he's always expanding. So this is the greatness of Krishna. Now here in the purport, Prabhupada also mentions this book, Easy Journey to Other Planet. This is the only book that Prabhupada wrote and printed before, actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam, first, second, third canto. But other than that, that was the only small book. So he was distributing books. He was a book distributor before going to the West. And he distributed a book to one gentleman who saw Prabhupada later, maybe a couple months later. He said, I read your book, Easy Journey to Other Planets. And he asked the question, he said, so if I go back to the spiritual world, do I have to come back here? Do I come back here again? And Prabhupada said, no, you stay there. And Prabhupada was surprised. He said, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to go. And Prabhupada could see that he wanted to go to the spiritual world and come back and boast to his relatives and friends, yeah, the spiritual world was nice. It's a nice place. So foolish. So foolish. The spiritual world is so nice. There's kapha trees and whatever you want. Here, in the orange trees, you get oranges. From the trees there, though, you can get oranges, you can get samosas, you can get gulab jamuns, you can get chapatis, you can get nice sabji. Eat whatever you want from the kapha trees. And there's chintamani also, whatever you want. but they don't cut your feet. Gems are pretty sharp. These are rounded. So it's such a nice place. And there's no 9 to 5 jobs, right? There's no freezing cold. There's no burning hot. Sometimes it's like 110, 120 degrees and burning hot in this world. There's no police. There's no school. Just like that. So there's no anxiety. In this world, it's kota, there's so much anxiety. Spiritual, there's no anxiety. But who wants to go there? Practically nobody. Very few. Even devotees, they come and they join and they hear and they practice. And then they, again, become attracted to the material world. So we have to be very careful. Prapanam Paimami Sampitra Mitru Gaharava. Krishna told Uddhava in the Uddhava Gita that this is how you should pray to me in the form of the deity. Please protect me, Krishna, who I'm trying to surrender unto you. I'm very fearful of this material existence, standing as I am in the mouth of death. So you should have a great fear. Prabhupada said that's one of the flaws of my disciples. They don't have enough fear. They don't have enough fear of Maya. So you should have a firm fear of Maya. It's not a nice place. So we have a process of how to get out of this world. It's called The Great Escape. I think it was Devaramrita Swami wrote a book, The Great Escape. Great escape. So to escape from the material world, that's the greatest escape. There's some people that can escape from these really high security prisons, even Alcatraz, some people escape. But it's much more difficult to escape from the material world. But it's possible. And the only way that it's possible is by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, with bhakti. Bhakti has to be there. That ingredient isn't there. Like there's people that chant Hare Krishna, and there's no bhakti. There's professionals. Like now we have kirtans becoming very popular. And people chant Hare Krishna. But there's no bhakti. There's no shakti. But now devotees are getting more and more into the big fold of kirtan. There's this devotee in England. What's his name? Huh? Radhika. He has 15,000 people sometimes. With his concert, 15,000 people. They're not devotees, but they're attracted to Krishna. But he's got the bhakti. They're becoming attracted more and more. Now Janavi also, she has so many people listening. So, very important that the bhakti is there. So we could understand something of the unlimited Krishna by his mercy. This is the only way that we can understand Krishna, by his mercy. So that means we have to surrender. Sarvadharmam paritaja mamikam saranam. Aham tvam sarvapapejo moksha samivasasya. Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. And there was one person who was commenting on this verse. He was given a translation and commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And when he got to this verse, his commentary on this verse is, Krishna is asking for too much. That's his commentary. Krishna is asking for too much. It's called a bogus commentary. Rascal. And Gandhi, in his, he says, Kurukshetra is like the body. Then the 5 Pandavas, that's the senses, the 5 senses. It's total speculation. As though it's just a metaphor. There is. It's still there. Kurukshetra. It's still there. So, fortunately, we got Bhagavad Gita as this, by Srila Prabhupada, given the essence of the teachings of Krishna. So Krishna says in the Gita, Yayatamam Bhajante, Tam Sataya Vajam, Mama Vatmani Bhakante. As they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So Krishna will reward us according to our surrender. We just have to keep surrendering. There's an interesting example of this, how the more we surrender, the more we get mercy. So this is a mundane example, but it's pretty interesting. It's related to what we're discussing here. This is going way back, 4 decades, more than 4 decades, 1980, when Reagan was trying to be president. Now, you know, whenever there's a candidate to be president, there's people that vote for these candidates, and they have signs and the advertisements. So this is going to Gainesville, Florida. In Gainesville, every, I think Friday, they have Harinam. They still have it there?
Friday.
Every other Friday then. Okay. So, and they get a pretty good team of devotees, 25, 30 devotees on the corner of the university there.
Still every Friday. Yeah.
Still every Friday. Okay. So, and they're fired up. They have some good kirtaniyas, and so this one person who was voting for Reagan, he drove by the Harinam and he said, wow, look at those guys, they're fired up. So he pulled over his car and he got his sign and he jumped right in the middle of the Harinam and he's jumping up and down with the devotees. Vote for Reagan. And people are driving by and saying, well, look at that, the Hare Krishnas are voting for Reagan. So the devotees encouraged him, yeah, who cares, the sign is there, he was dancing. But then the reporter came by, a newspaper reporter, he came by and he saw that and said, well, look at that, the Hare Krishnas are voting for Reagan. So he pulls over his car, he gets a camera. The next day it's front page. The devotees there would, vote for Reagan. And what's interesting is that picture won the picture of the year in Florida for pictures in newspapers. So 3 days later, Reagan became president. Right? Krishna Mercy. Yeah. So somehow someone found that picture and put it on his presidential desk. And he was a little amused and a little shocked. Look at that. So he told the Secret Servicemen, go down to Gainesville and find this person. Send him up. I want to have lunch with him. He appreciated his devotion. So they flew down. Somehow they found him. They flew him up, and he had lunch with the president. So he must have been pretty happy about that. Right? I mean, not many people have lunch with the president. Not an easy thing. You got to know somebody. You got to know some big people to do that. But he pleased the president. So simply, it's not easy to have lunch with God. Not easy. But if there's devotion, then he can invite us to the spiritual world and we can have lunch with Krishna. Much better than having lunch with Reagan. Nice prasada. Can you imagine prasada? The spiritual world. And we can't even mention the stuff that they were even, Reagan was personally. So this is our future. We can go back to the spiritual world and have lunch with Krishna and all great devotees in the spiritual world. So here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that that the living entity, they can go to the heavenly planets. Yeah, they will have the. You can go. Anybody here want to go to heaven? Go on, nobody. Yeah, why? Why don't we want to go? Shinye punye marti lokam vishanti. Yeah, you got to come back. Your pious credits are going to run out. They're going to run out, and you got to come back again. I mean, I'm sure heaven's a nice place. People live long lives. You know, apparently, no ignorance, no passion. Nice people, beautiful people. But devotees, just we want to go back to that place. Actually, that's our home. We want to go back home. I mentioned yesterday, the Prabhupada was talking. He said that just like around the world, sometimes the youth, they'll run away from home. I ran away from home. I was 12 years old, me and another friend. We ran away from home. Anybody here ever run away from home? Yeah, a few people. So then we go back, right? Eventually, it's a little rough out there on our road. So similarly, it's a little rough out here in the material world without Krishna. So we're trying to go back home. Krishna, sorry, we ran away. Now we want to go back home. Our real home. Our father. Our best friend and our father. Generally, if you have a father, he's not your best friend. Anybody had a father who was also your best friend? And then we we got a Westerner. Now I can understand Indians because Indians are very close. You know, family very close. Which country are you from? Wow. Oh, your parents are devotees? Well, that's why. That's why. Wow, nice. But Krishna, he's our ultimate best friend and our ultimate father. So we're trying to go back there. We'll be so happy. There we'll be satisfied. There, so much dissatisfaction. So much dissatisfaction. So much anxiety. So fortunately, Prabhupada has come and has given us this knowledge. You know, Narada Muni has given us this knowledge. Vyasadeva has given us this wonderful knowledge. And this is a guideline. This is a guideline. How to go back home. How to go back to the spiritual. All we have to do is follow the instructions. It's like sometimes people don't buy something, buy some machine or something, they think they can do it themselves. And they fiddle with it for a couple hours. And now, where's that instruction manual? Where's that instruction manual? Can't figure it out. So this is an instruction manual, how to become pure and go back to the spiritual world. We just have to follow very strictly. You know? So those are a few thoughts about this. Is there any question, comment, or discussion? Yes, Sachi, Tanoy, Prabhu.
I have a comment. If somebody has
Yeah.
a question.
We have a microphone there for you.
When you were mentioning about, how Krishna is wonderful, he does so many wonderful things, and many people cannot understand him. Came to my mind that, all those devotees who distribute books, they always find music teaching. And I just remember that one time in UCLA, this Indian background, but I think it was from Islamic religion. He came very angry as soon as he saw the books. Immediately he started just, getting into the case of yoga. So many women And I said, how do you know? She said, I saw it in your books. I heard many times. I said, no, really? Do you really believe in this? Yes, I do. No, no, that's, yes. Do you really believe it? I said, yes. So, well, then, that's God. That's God. Because do you know anyone who has 16,000? How many wives can a man, human being could have? Then he replies to another God. But like that, we need many, many varieties. I mean, we can make a list of all the different peoples who come across with, challenges like dating. And sometimes you make a simple answer like 2 weeks ago in UCLA also, one man saw the books. He said, what's in that? He says, oh, this is about me. He said, what do you mean? He said, God. He said, oh, well, there's no human being that wouldn't like not to hear about how good he is, of the good qualities. Everybody likes to hear about the glories that you have. Would you like to hear something about your glories? Would you like to hear how good they come about you? You don't remember all good things that you do. You'd like to check out some of these books. And then at that point, he realizing, oh, yeah, he thought I was like derivative and sarcastic. But on the other side, also, you meet all kinds of sweet, nice people like pious. Oh, Krishna. I said, oh, you know about Krishna? Yes. I said, well, do you met the Buddhist? You been to the temple? No, 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 no. So how do you know then? This is what, because, the videos and also about the Krishna book. And I said, well, tell me, please tell me, what is the thing that you like about Krishna? He said, well, Krishna, he's a very naughty boy. I said, what has he done? He said, well, he's stealing, he's fighting, he's playing. And I said, what do you think about that? He says, well, I love it. And I said, I mean, we can go on and on. Many devotees have this experience. Another person in Santa Monica, he got a book. Like he said, can you give me the best book here? I said, what kind of thing do you like to read? He said, well, I like stories. I said, oh, Krishna book. So he went. As soon as I gave him the book, he started reading. Comes back like in about 15 minutes. He says, I have a question for you. Is he real God? I said, yeah, just keep reading. Went, came back like half an hour later, another question, and then on and on like that. Many people like that. It's a lot of fun. Everybody else.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Guru, thank you for your wonderful class. I was like something that got my attention from the purport, like they mentioned the Bhagavad Gita 9:25, that it says that those who worship the ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. But how does one take birth, like in a spirit form, or how is that?
A ghostly body. How do you take birth in a ghostly body?
Good.
Ghostly parents. No, I mean, people that worship ghosts, they want to be like that, and a person can make the arrangement. It's like there's ways to be ghost. How do you become a ghost?
Committing suicide?
Committing suicide. There's probably other ways, but yeah, it's the people that commit suicide, they think that that's it, but no, there's. And sometimes people that don't believe in ghosts, I have a sister, she was in the living room watching TV with her nephew, and she looked up in the corner and there was a ghost. She said to her nephew, do you see what I see? He said, yeah, I see it. And they jumped up and ran out. And Prabhupada, he said, I'm ghost proof. I'm ghost proof. There was some, he had a business, and in this business there was he had bought this building, very cheap because it was ghostly haunted. Nobody wanted to buy it. So Prabhu said, no problem. It was very cheap. He said, I'll get rid of the ghost, no problem. So he bought it, and while they were working there, one of the workers came in and said, Baba, ghost, there's ghosts. He said, okay, no problem. So he went in, he got all of them to do Harinam. Yeah. All those workers, they did kirtan throughout them. Gone. Finished. They don't like kirtan. Poison. Also in England, there was a house. There were workers in the house of John Lennon's property, and Prabhupada was staying there with a bunch of devotees. They were doing renovation with John Lennon's house, and they had heard dragging chains, and the man, he said, I don't think it goes. But then he kept on hearing these dragging chains in the house at night when they're trying to sleep, like, oh. Finally he believed it's good. So then word got to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told all the devotees, go and do Harinam, big kirtan in the house. Just go around the house, big kirtan, 2 hours. Finished. Never heard him again. It's the cure for ghosts. Ghosts. One time I was in the ashram there in Miami, and there's a devotee who sleeping next to me, and it's maybe 12 o'clock, and he says to me, Vijaya. Oh my God. He's being attacked by a ghost. So I said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Then it was chanted it for a few times, and he said, thanks, Vijaya. Just give it thanks. So then the next morning I said, Prabhu, all due respect, you're a nice devotee, but you're going to have to sleep somewhere else. I don't really woken up by someone being attacked by a ghost. So, yeah, they are there. Yes.
Prabhu, following what you just said about ghosts, the kirtan get rid of the ghosts, but in some temples there is ghosts. Like in Los Angeles, Benuga with the security guard, he tells so many pastimes with ghosts, so many. So how can we say that even though we're doing kirtan in the temple, Harinam, Kirtan, Bhagavatam, but even that, there is still ghosts in the temple.
In the temple itself? Temple.
Yeah,
in the temple.
In the temple.
In the temple.
In the temple.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they're devotees, yeah. Sometimes devotees commit suicide, unfortunately. And sometimes they might be coming like, oh, I go with them and it goes place. So they just join them back in the kirtan.
But also it can be more kind of, the scriptures is healing because there's the story of the Jagannath temple in which the villagers were for healing knowledge.
The glory was transcendental. I don't know what, I didn't live in there for 48 years, and I've never been fortunate attacked with anything. So, I don't know.
Well, there's that story also of Chota Haridas, who had been attracted to a young lady, and Lord Chaitanya, he's omniscient. So he told the servant that I don't want him around anymore. So he was still there in Jagannath Puri, and he was hoping he'd get some mercy from Lord Chaitanya. The devotees were even, hard to, because they didn't know what had happened. So they were trying to get Lord Chaitanya to be merciful to him. Lord Chaitanya was very, very strict himself and with others. So finally he left. And he went to Triveni there, the Ganga, was it the Ganga, the Saraswati, Yamuna, I think it, and he committed suicide. But later, the devotees could hear him singing. He had a beautiful voice, and they could hear him singing. He was glorifying Lord Chaitanya, and they thought that he had become a ghost. But Swarup Damodar said, no, he's a pure devotee. He has a spiritual body. He had a spiritual body. They thought it was a ghost, but it was a spiritual body. He was glorifying Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, I recently heard that about 50,000 people in America commit suicide every year. A lot of suffering. So we got to get the books out there. Okay, anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki?
Yeah.
His Grace Vijaya Prabhu ki jai.